Hello again, everybody. My name is John Lunn, aka Jonnychipz, and it is time for another episode of Jonnychipz Weekly. This is episode number 44 on Friday, the 29th of October, 2021. Spooky. So yes, welcome everybody. Hope you've had a fantastic week, whatever you've been up to this week. We're going to jump straight on into it this week. Going to keep it relatively short. Been a relatively quiet week for me this week in the sense that I've had a week off work, so it's been great, chilling, watching a bit of TV, reading a few books, going out with the kids, doing a bit of shopping. Obviously, the kids over with me are off on their half-term school break at the moment. So, yeah, use the time to kind of unwind a little bit, de-stress, and get off the grid a little bit. So it's been quite a relaxing week for me. But nonetheless, there has been plenty going on in the world of tech and IT and Microsoft and Azure. So let's start off with a bit of Jonnychipz on the side. Yeah, like I say, 9 consecutive days off work. Boom. Yeah, it's coming to Friday, so got the weekend off now before I get back into the swing of things and get back to the day job on Monday. But it's been a really nice week this week. Just nice to put the feet up for a little bit of time. You know, still doing my weekly video. Can't miss my weekly video. I like jumping on and doing these things. But yeah, I mean, it's been quite a relaxing week, if I'm being honest. Tried to keep a little bit off social media. Still had a few interactions throughout the week, but not because I don't care about anybody, but just because I've just been in a little bit of a world of my own this week, just kicking back and, like I say, watching a bit of TV and reading a few books and bits and pieces. So anyway, it's not to say, like I say, that there hasn't been things going on. So we're going to start off with Jonnychipz on the side. Apart from being off work for this week, just want to give a big shout out to my guest on In Conversation With last week, Anthony. Thank you so much for being an awesome guest. If you did miss that episode, we talk about all things IoT, machine learning, AI, that kind of stuff. It's a great conversation, to be honest, looking at Anthony's background and some of the projects he's been part to and involved with over the last few years. It's really good, insightful conversation. So if you did miss that, go and check that out. But it is Friday. Friday evening in the UK will be upon us in a few hours' time, and therefore my guest this week will be none other than Izzy. So Izzy is joining me tonight, 6:30 p.m. We're still BST, aren't we? Yeah, clocks go full back. Yeah. So clocks go back in the UK on the weekend. So yes, we're still in BST. So 6:30 BST. Izzy joined me for a conversation. We talk about all sorts of things, to be honest, but kind of core themes are community, what Izzy's been up to over the last couple of years, careers, that kind of stuff. So join us tonight, 6:30 p.m. BST. Great conversation. It's just surprised that I hadn't really caught up with Izzy before now. So, it's great to kind of finally say hello properly. Well, as properly as it can be over a webcam. But yeah, great conversation. She's such an inspiration in the community. So please do stick around. Watch that episode tonight. That would be absolutely fantastic. In other news for me this week, it's kind of been a year since I set up my home office. So everything I'm sat in at the moment is, for those of you that have been following me a little bit, you'll know it's been a little bit of a labour of love over the last 12 months. But I think, just looking at the photographs, I put this up the other day, how it started. I mean, this was when I first got the PC. I built the PC, got it shipped over to the room. You can just about see there that we were just putting my actual desk together. And that was a year ago this week, which is pretty cool, really, to see what's been going on and how it's going. So, this photo itself is a little bit out of date, so I can see my old mic arm in there, and, there's a few other bits and pieces not on the desk. But, it kicked up a little bit of a stir on LinkedIn. I mean, it's crazy, really, how many likes and views these pictures get. But, what was actually quite cool to see is that Elgato turned around and actually has featured me in their on their website. So you can browse on over to that now and take a look, and you can see they put a little bit of a feature with links to the products that I actually use from Elgato, which I thought was pretty cool. There I am. What the pros? Apparently I'm a pro, which I'm not going to say no to, but what the pros are saying, and you can see I got a little little selfie of me with the products. I don't know why they've not listed the key lights in there, to be honest, because I've got the two Elgato key lights as well as the face cam and the LP arm, which you can just about see there. So yeah, they could have listed a few more bits in there, but there we go. But anyway, I thought that was pretty cool and something nice. You know, the fact that it's pretty much a year to the date that I end up going from building my home office to then appearing on the Elgato website as a professional. You know, it's quite a cool thing and an interesting thing to kind of wrap your head around. And in other news this week, I hit 700 subscribers on YouTube. So yeah, just a quick shout out to everybody. Thanks for following and you know, subscribing to my channel. I'm going to mix it up a bit. I'm planning on doing some bits and pieces for the new year. So yeah, keep tuned. You know, if you can subscribe, that's fantastic. If not, no problem. But yeah, so I'm going to try and mix it up a bit, like I say, into the new year. Okie dokie, that was Jonnychipz on the side. So if we just tee up then, and we'll get ready for our community call out. I think that's what we will jump on over now and take a look at. So again, you know, like I said, I've been off work for the majority of the week, but there's been some great community announcements that I've managed to kind of catch. Not all of them, but we've got a few to kind of kick through now. So let's go and have a look at those. So yes, obviously Ignite is next week, and I say obviously, you may not know, but Microsoft Ignite, the virtual event starts next week, November the 2nd to the 4th. So you've still got time to register and get signed in and get your backpack sorted and your session builder sorted. So that's what I've been kind of doing a little bit of this week. I noticed Olivier Bloch had kind of put up a link to a good bunch of IoT. So for me this year, I think I'm going to try and stick with a theme of, you know, as many of the IoT type talks as I can. Not to say that I'm not going to watch anything else, but this caught my eye, and obviously the links to the sessions that Olivier has pulled together there in this blog post is great. I mean, things like roundtables, IoT manufacturing. You know, how can we apply the technologies? How can we actually use the technologies for the greater good, so to speak, or in an actual practical sense? So there's some great, I mean, I was quite surprised to see actually how many IoT themed sessions there were. And I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's at least a dozen, if not, you know, sort of 14, 15 there. So yeah, I'm going to take a look at those myself. But there's plenty of other things going on. You know, I mean, this one here, again, it's an IoT themed thing, Azure Percept. So, you know, I'm going to take a look at that. Rick tweeted this out as part of the blueprint files. So yeah, there's a lot of cool talks going on at Ignite. So what I would suggest you do is head on over to that My Ignite website, get yourself registered, get into your session builder, and you can literally browse through all the different sessions and kind of pick the ones that you want to watch and fill in the blanks with your time, that kind of stuff. So yeah, really, really cool. Again, sticking with the thing of IoT, thanks, Sean. I did take a quick look. I'm going to read this in a little bit more detail, but Sean's basically taken a read of the third edition of the IoT signals, and what the IoT signals is like I guess it's like an industry standard, an industry temperature check across many businesses, different verticals, different business types, to understand where they are on their kind of journey to developing IoT solutions, implementing IoT solutions, what the strategy is. So there's some really good signal, hence the word signal. So just to kind of get a bit of an idea, you know, manufacturing, 90% of the surveyed leaders in countries fitting criteria are adopters of IoT. So, you know, you can see that there's lots of different metrics in here, and Sean's done a really great job of kind of summarizing these. So it's great to see, you know, if you are dipping into IoT in a commercial sense, you can start to try and, you know, maybe see what the trends are, see where the industry is actually hedging towards. So yeah, I'm going to take a little bit more of an in-depth read in that, but thanks for putting that together for us, Sean. That's great. In other news, yeah, I wanted to kind of broadcast this out. So Andy Jones, my good friend Andy, he's putting together what he's calling an in-tune quick link. So I thought it was a pretty cool idea. So he's kind of putting links together for various different elements of, you know, how to automate some useful tools and some configuration, you know, PowerShell scripts, things like that. So he's linking off to them. So go and check that out if that's of interest to you. Thanks for that, Andy. and the amazing April Edwards. As we know, April is at the helm of the DevOps Lab show. It was cool the other day. I noticed that she'd retweeted this out, her first video. So it was the first video that April and Enable Mabel Bang did together. So it's great, all talking about using Terraform and Azure. Fantastic to see. If you're not following the DevOps Lab, go and check it out, because there's weekly videos that come out from the guys and gals. So obviously April's on, what's this, episode number 60 with Jay, talking about, again, DevOps and Azure DevOps practices, what tooling we can use, and the benefits of using DevOps in the business. And it's a great series to kind of stay on top of and keep track of. So you can kind of put your feelers out and find your way into that kind of world if that's what you're looking for. So yeah, huge thanks to April for pulling these episodes together for us. They really are appreciated, obviously, especially for people like me that come from the ops space, to kind of get a few hints and tips and really good ways of working in that kind of space. So thanks, April. Superb. Moving on. Again, Dwayne has got the Skill Me Up Academy sessions, and this time he's got Shannon Keane on, and they're actually talking about the cloud adoption framework. So, quite close to my heart. I deal with this quite regularly with customers I deal with. But it's great to see these kind of sessions being put together to help everybody understand what is the cloud adoption framework. How do you use it? When you are trying to adopt the cloud, what kind of collateral and information is in there. Go and check that out. That's a fantastic session. Go and give that a watch. Thanks to Shannon and Dwayne for pulling that one together for us. And Mr. Shabazz Dar. So the UK Azure Virtual Desktop user group has got their next evening on November the 4th. And there's a big announcement by all accounts. So next Thursday, stick that date in your diaries, go and RSVP to this meetup event. There's going to be a big announcement. So looking forward to seeing exactly what that is. So thanks for that, Shabazz. And moving on, yes, Christian brought this to our attention this week, that if you are interested in becoming one of the rock stars of cloud PC, so that Windows 365, that cloud PC element, that's kind of lighter weight cloud PC, as opposed to Azure Virtual Desktop, then that's absolutely applicable now to an MVP track. So if you are, reach out to him if you are interested in that space and you want to become that rock star. Reach out to Christian, have a chat with him, see what he's actually looking for, or if you are doing a lot or starting to talk a lot with your customers about Windows 365, go and check that out. So there's a link there. Go and follow Christian on Twitter and reach out. So yes, Izzy is my guest tonight on In Conversation With, but equally, Holly and Izzy have got their next episode of Head in the Cloud, Heart in the Community. They're actually prepping for their October edition, so that'll be out soon. I know they've had a little bit of a break. I know Holly's changed jobs, and obviously Izzy has been off on maternity, so great to see that they've finally got that one back together after a short break. Go and follow them. So aka.ms/Head in the Cloud, Heart in the Community. Looking forward to that episode to come out. Stay tuned. Knots IoT. So looking forward to this one actually. So I've started to get into a little bit of the kind of machine learning models and the different types and the ways that you can use them. But TinyML is obviously another one of those kind of machine learning models. And Knots IoT have got Bruno coming on to actually come and talk about TinyML and SkyShark. So really interested to see what that is. That's going to be on the 11th of November. So we've got a couple of weeks before that one is out. But if you are interested, bookmark that, save the date, go on RSVP and take a look at that. And yes, can't not let this one go. Again, on the same day, November the 15th, 10 a.m. GMT. We will be in GMT at that point. I'm teaming up with a bunch of awesome people from right across the IoT community globally. There's a lot of people there worldwide getting involved with this event. So it's a Tech Days event all about IoT. And it's a flight into IoT. So using actual ESP32s to send real-time data of a flight. So, things like all the kind of instrumentation that you can imagine coming from a plane, and we're going to talk right the way through that kind of solution. You're going to see how it all fits together. It's going to be a really exciting couple of hours, I think. So yeah, please do go and RSVP to that. I think if you could pick out the URL there, it's aka.ms/techdays/IoT. Be cool to see you there. And finally, as it is Halloween this week, Cliff kind of pointed this one out, which I thought was quite a cool little thing. You might not have a bit of time to get the components now, but to build one of these kind of Halloween pumpkins for under £10, essentially, all the components are in there. Look, even if you don't do it for this Halloween because you don't have the components, go and buy them. I mean, they look absolutely awesome. I'm sure you'll all agree, and I'm really not quite sure how they how those mouths are moving. That can't be real, can it? Anyway, go and check it out. That's going to be an awesome little thing to get into, especially if you are into dabbling with the Picos and Raspberry Pis. Go and check that out. Awesome stuff. So head back on over. So yeah, like I say, even though I've kind of been off the radar a little bit myself this week, there's still some fantastic. Obviously, there's loads of fantastic things going on in the community, but it's just about kind of keeping your eye on it, kind of following it through, and seeing actually what's going on in that space. So, without further ado, I'm going to quickly jump on over. Let's just have a little refresher as to what's going on in the Welsh Azure user group. So yeah, we'll keep this short and sweet. The next meetup is on the 17th of November, so we've got a couple of weeks yet. And we've got the amazing Mark Allen coming on to speak to us about using Azure static web apps in the real world. And we've got the amazing David O'Brien coming on to talk about how he built that cloud security SaaS solution using Azure. So 17th of November, if you can RSVP, that would be fantastic. Head on over to @WelshAzure on Twitter. Find the link, RSVP, and we hope to see you there. As always, apart from having two fantastic speakers, we have a little bit of fun. We have a bit of a quiz with actual prizes as well. So, yeah, please do head on and come and say hello. It absolutely would be appreciated. So, yeah, that'll do for now. That's the Welsh Azure. Okie dokie. So, final section of the show we all know is going to be our Azure news. So, without further ado, let's head on over to that. Okie dokie. The 29th of October 2021. So with the Azure News, all I do is I take a look at the announcements from the Azure Updates website over the last week to see what's new, what's in preview, what's gone generally available. So without further ado, in fairness, we've had quite a lot of announcements in the fact that it's the run-up to Ignite, obviously next week. So we'll kind of skip through these. We've had about a dozen or so announcements, so let's just skip through these as quickly as we can with a little bit of an explanation. Some of these things I've read for the first time, some I'm aware of already. So let's just have a little look then. So generally available is ephemeral OS disks for Azure VM support, additional VM sizes. That's gone generally available. Logs.io on Microsoft Azure has now gone GA, so you can now run that logs.io as a service on Azure via the Azure Marketplace. So things like it provides you with seamless experience provision, logs.io accounts, and configure Azure resources, send logs to logs.io from the Azure portal. So if you are using that, or you're thinking of using that, or you don't even know what that is, go and have a little browse on over to logs.io and check that out. But it is now gone generally available. Also GA, Azure Functions extensions for blobs, queues, Event Hub, Service Bus, and Event Grid. So a set of Azure Functions, triggers, and bindings based on the latest Azure SDKs is now generally available, covering all of those different areas. So if you are into your functions and you're looking for maybe some slightly different triggers, or bindings, go and take a look at what the SDK is now including for those particular Azure Resource Manager objects. Pretty cool. Okay, Azure Data Explorer Insights. So there's a whole plethora of bits and pieces that have now been gone GA with Data Explorer Insights. Like I say, go and check that out. There's many links here, but have a look at the Azure Updates for the 27th of October, and you can see there's a plethora of announcements there in terms of what Azure Data Explorer Insights, what the product team have been up to, and what's actually gone GA. Zerto, disaster recovery for AVS, so Azure VMware solution, is now available. So with Zerto for AVS, it supports 3 different scenarios. So that on-prem VMware to Azure VMware solution for a kind of like that hybrid disaster recovery scenario, where the primary site is on-prem, the vSphere based, the on-prem vSphere based environment, and the DR is in Azure VMware solution. The second scenario is with the AVS, so the Azure VMware solution to another Azure VMware solution for kind of that cloud-based disaster recovery scenario. So effectively, you end up with 2 AVS solutions with that Zerto replication happening between the two. And the third one is obviously the primary site now being in the cloud in AVS in one region, and the disaster recovery is actually, hang on, let me just make sure I read that. Is right in the scenario, primary site is an AVS private cloud in one Azure region, and the Azure blobs, Azure IaaS, Hyper-V based VMs are used in times of disaster. Okay, so it's, in other words, it's using that kind of the IaaS platform as the disaster recovery type solution rather than a VMware type solution. So they're the 3 supported scenarios that Zerto actually offers for a DR, but it's pretty cool, and that is now available if you are considering using that. Azure Spot virtual machines try to restore functionality as now generally available. So Spot VM try to restore benefits. So it attempts to restore the Azure Spot virtual machines evicted due to capacity situation. Restored Azure Spot VMs are expected to run for longer duration with lower probability of capacity triggered eviction. So yeah, if you have a read about the Azure Spot instances, but essentially, they're a lot lower in price in terms of the fact that they're contractually an SLA. You're kind of aware that you're buying that compute power that is when it's not really being used. So of course, if there is a spike in demand for actual VM sizes, things like that, then by evicted it means you get thrown off the VM effectively. So it looks like they put some improvements in there. So that if you are evicted, then restoring back to that same Spot instance is a little bit more seamless, maybe. So it improves the lifespan of a Spot instance VM, so the workloads can run for a longer duration. So, but yeah, some other bits and pieces in there. You can see there's some updates to the GUI, and obviously bits and pieces that you can configure on that. So go and check that out if you are using Spot instances. Okay, extended regional availability for private link NSG support. Regional availability for private links. So private endpoint support for NSGs is now in public preview. Yeah. The feature enhancement will provide you with the ability to enable advanced security controls on traffic destined to a private endpoint. In order to leverage this feature, you will need to set a specific subnet level property called the private endpoint network policies. To enabled. In addition to toggling this property, you will also need to register for the feature itself, allow private endpoint NSG, and it takes up to 15 minutes. So at this time of writing, it's available in all of these locations here. And there's a few links to Microsoft Docs articles there if you want to take a look at it. So yeah, private link NSG support, pretty cool. Again, these features just keep expanding. Okay, so private link UDR support, so user-defined routes. So they're obviously, Microsoft are bringing in these features. Very similar process to the to that NSG support. Now we've got the ability to create user-defined routes. Very similar process there. Actually, it looks like okay. So we need to enable the same bits and pieces it's saying there. So fair enough. So check that out if you are interested in that. Okay, Windows 10 IoT Enterprise LTSC 2021 RTM for OEMs. So what Microsoft has done now. So Windows 10 IoT Enterprise is the latest operating system offering for the embedded and IoT devices platforms. With every new release, we try to continue to deliver on a promise of bringing enterprise class power, security, and manageability to the Internet of Things. In addition to adding new features and capabilities, some of which are highlighted below. So yes, so there's another update of Windows 10 IoT Enterprise LTSC. in preview. We have Azure Red Hat OpenShift is now available in public preview in the Azure government. It's very specific. So, it's in preview, Red Hat OpenShift in the Azure government subscription area. So if you are working with any Azure government customers and there is that requirement for Red Hat OpenShift, then that is in public preview. Okay, GA, Azure Governance Policy for Azure Key Vault. Okay, cool. That's nice to see. So with Azure Key Vault, with Azure Policy, that's reached GA now. And let's just scan down and see what we can do. So yeah, just there's a few bits and pieces here on how we can apply that. I'm just trying to see if what that offers there. Okay, I'm not going to dwell on it too much. There's a link there if you want to go and use that. So there are some policies in place, and they're now GA. They're supportable for that Azure Key Vault object within Azure. Cool. Okay, yeah, I did notice this earlier on in the week, actually. So GA as Express Route IPv6 support for private peering is now now available. So establish BGP sessions between the customer and Microsoft Edge over Express Route using both IPv4, IPv6, or both. Connect to dual stack deployments in Azure regions using a new or existing Express Route gateway. So, yeah, cool to see. Good news. GA Azure Sphere version 21.10 is out. Generally available, Azure Backup now supports archive tier through the Azure portal. That's pretty cool. So that's now gone GA. And we've got Azure Monitor Log Analytics and Application Insight support for availability zones is now GA in West US 2. And finally, Azure Advisor recommendations for Azure Data Explorer clusters. That is now gone into GA as well. So if you are interested in that, do go and take a look. Okay, that's been the news this week. Thanks for watching. Okay, thanks for sticking around, everybody. Hope you've had a great Friday so far. Enjoy the rest of your Friday and into the weekend. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Obviously, we'll leave it there for now. I've been John Lunn, aka Jonnychipz. Until next week, I'll see you then. But please do stick around later this evening and watch that In Conversation With. That would be great. Till next week, I'll see you soon. Thanks all.